Most people think power lies in swords, crowns, or armies, but history often hides its greatest forces in the unlikeliest of places. Imagine a kingdom whose destiny wasn't decided by generals or kings, but by a creature many dismissed as ordinary, a cat. Absurd? Maybe. And yet, some of the most extraordinary truths are the ones that sound foolish at first. This story isn't about fairy tales you've already heard. It's about the kind of legend that challenges what you believe about leadership, intuition, and influence. Because here's the paradox. While humans fought, plotted, and schemed for control, a single enchanted feline shaped the course of an entire kingdom without ever raising a blade. Sounds impossible, right? And yet, buried in the whispers of old chronicles, there's a thread that suggests the cat's role was not only real, but decisive. This is the kind of tale that unsettles skeptics and empowers dreamers, because it forces you to wonder, what if true power doesn't roar, but purrs softly in the corner of the room? And let's be honest, we're drawn to stories like these not just for entertainment, but because they spark uncomfortable questions. If a simple cat could influence rulers and alter fate, then what hidden forces are shaping our lives today without us noticing? What if wisdom, strength, or even magic isn't out there in grand displays, but right beside us, waiting to be recognized? The kingdom that once discovered this secret lived differently, and so can we. So, before you dismiss this as just another myth, I invite you to lean closer. The legend of the cat who enchanted an entire kingdom isn't merely a story, it's a mirror reflecting truths we often overlook. And once you see it, you might never look at power, wisdom, or even your own intuition the same way again. Since ancient times, the cat has carried an aura of mystery. And in the Enchanted Kingdom, it became more than just an animal. It was a living emblem of hidden wisdom. While dogs obeyed and horses served, the cat walked its own path, teaching that independence and freedom of spirit often bring greater insight than blind loyalty. To the people, every flick of its tail, every measured step, felt like a lesson in balance and self-trust. Isn't it true that in our own lives, the moments when we trust our instincts, no matter how small, often turn out to be the ones that shape everything else? The villagers would often gather stories about the cat's calm presence during times of unrest. Some swore that its silent gaze was enough to calm tempers during heated disputes, while others believed it inspired patience in seasons of hunger and hardship. If you think about it, this lesson still applies today. When tension rises, it's not always the loudest voice that leads, but the quietest one that refuses to be shaken. A simple pause before reacting, whether in an argument, a business decision, or even in raising children, can carry more power than a dozen rushed actions. The symbolism of the cat stretched far beyond individual wisdom. It became a thread that bound the community together. In moments when faith seemed fragile, the feline's calm presence reminded people that survival wasn't about force, but about resilience and trust in unseen strength. Villagers began to see the cat not only as a magical companion, but also as a mirror of their own courage. And just as they drew strength from its presence, perhaps we too could look at the silent anchors in our lives, the mentors, the quiet friends, the unspoken moments, and realize how much they hold us together. But whispers grew louder with time, suggesting that this wisdom didn't remain symbolic forever. Some claim that the cat shared its insight directly with rulers, guiding decisions that no ordinary advisor could explain. Others whispered of strange alliances, where the feline seemed to act as a bridge between mortals and otherworldly forces. Whether true or not, the possibility of such hidden ties only deepened the fascination and set the stage for stories of secret pacts that would forever change the destiny of the crown. Legends claim that behind every throne there is a whisper, and behind that whisper often a hidden hand. In this case, the hidden hand, or rather, Paul, was said to belong to the enchanted cat. While the kingdom saw only the king's decrees, few knew that late at night, when the palace torches dimmed, the feline slipped into the royal chambers. There, it was believed, secrets were exchanged not in words, but in quiet gazes, subtle nods, and the silence that spoke louder than counsel. Rulers who trusted the cat seemed to reign with sharper vision, as though guided by something beyond mortal reason. Some versions of the tale suggest the cat's pact wasn't only with kings, but also with mystical beings who roamed the unseen world. Imagine treaties signed not on parchment, but through symbols drawn in firelight, understood only by the gifted few. Through these hidden alliances, wars were averted, crops flourished, and enemies found themselves bewildered before battles even began. It wasn't brute force that secured the kingdom's survival, but an invisible diplomacy that played out in shadows, always leading skeptics to wonder if it was all coincidence, or if magic truly ran through the veins of power. The common folk, though excluded from the details, sensed that something extraordinary bound their leaders to the cat. They noticed decisions that defied logic, yet produced prosperity. They watched rival houses suddenly reconcile after years of hatred. It was as though someone or something was tugging on the strings of fate from behind a velvet curtain. This idea gave rise to sayings still whispered in some villages: where the cat sits, destiny shifts, and whether you believed it or not, the outcomes were too consistent to dismiss as mere chance. Yet, like all secrets too large to stay buried, rumors spread far beyond the kingdom's borders. Travelers carried stories of the feline's role in shaping policies, of kings who refused to make decisions without first meeting its golden eyes. These whispers wove themselves into neighboring legends, inspiring songs, poems, and even rebellions in lands that wished they too had such a guide. What began as a private pact between royalty and a mysterious creature soon became the foundation of myths that reached far beyond one kingdom's walls, hinting that perhaps the cat's true influence had only just begun. So now the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? It's easy to hear stories of enchanted creatures and think they belong only to the past. But the real power of these legends is how they reflect back into our own lives. The cat taught its kingdom about intuition, patience, and the courage to trust the unseen. Aren't those the very qualities we often neglect while chasing quick wins and noisy distractions? Think for a second, how many times have you ignored that quiet inner voice only to regret it later? What opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you were too focused on what was obvious, instead of what was hidden? The enchanted cat's gift wasn't just magic, it was the ability to remind humans of truths they already carried inside. And maybe that's exactly what you needed to hear today, So I'll ask you, what would change if you started listening more closely to your instincts, to the subtle signs around you, to the wisdom that doesn't shout but whispers? Would your relationships shift? Would your goals take a new direction? The kingdom found strength not in armies, but in awareness. And awareness, my friend, is something you can begin practicing right now. If this story sparked even a little curiosity in you, don't let it fade away. Take this as a call to action. Start applying what you've learned and keep seeking out the hidden wisdom in your own life. And if you want to keep uncovering stories like this, lessons wrapped in mystery and magic, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because the next tale might just be the one that changes everything for you.